if you drive for Uber or Lyft and you're a gun owner, there's some things that you absolutely should be doing, and there's some things that you need to know before you take that next ride. Today we're going to be looking at a very recent situation that kind of went viral on social media, and it shows an Uber driver actually pulling her gun in what seemingly is not self-defense, but the problem is, well, we're going to talk about the problem. And then another one where if this driver did have a firearm, there's a chance that she could have been totally fine. And stuff like this happens all the time. So we're just going to look at these two contrasting things. And I'm going to tell you, if you're a gun owner and you are carrying, or if you're not carrying, I think in my eyes, it becomes crystal clear what you should be doing by the end of this. But maybe agree or disagree. Let me know what you think. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So recently, this video popped up on social media.
You're harassing me.
I'm harassing
Get out
you?
of my vehicle right now.
I'm not harassing
Get
you.
out of my vehicle. She doesn't want to get out of my vehicle.
No, she just pulled
Get
a gun.
out of my vehicle. You're no longer in the ride. Get out. Get out of my vehicle right now.
She got them crazy eyes.
Get out.
Oh.
Get
Ooh.
out.
Ooh.
Get out of my vehicle.
Okay, so this is a very short clip, and you could probably see one of the instant problems with this entire thing. We don't, as of right now, in the making of this video, we don't have in-dash camera from the driver herself. Now, Uber does not require cameras, but they strongly encourage it. But here's what I want to know. What happened before this situation? I want to give a huge shout out to Valorous TV for sponsoring today's video. They're one of the few channels out there that are solely focused on American history and heroes and the people that have defended and continue to defend our nation. They actually have exclusive movies, documentaries, and interviews with people that were actually there in some of the biggest events in American history. Now, the World War II documentaries for me are my personal favorites. I love that period of history, and they provide a ton of different World War II documentaries, but they actually have a lot on their sites. I'm going to leave a link to Valorous TV's YouTube channel down below, and there's no subscription, there's no cost or anything like that. Subscribe to their channel, of course, because they're a source of great content, but there's no money involved. You can literally watch everything they have right here on YouTube for free. So if you want to hear from and watch the people that have served and protected our country throughout its entire history, make sure you subscribe to Valorous TV. I mean, this driver is mad. And I mean, you could tell she does have crazy eyes going on. But typically, I mean, in like probably a vast majority of situations like this, people are not going to get that angry unless it was escalated. And so that's why I want to know exactly what happened the moments leading up to this situation right here. Without it, now you can't say right or wrong really until we have that footage, if we can ever get that footage. But the other thing that I question here, and again, not saying the gun owner is in the right, but the way she's reacting, and then the fact that this passenger has time to record and she's clearly not leaving the vehicle, or she hasn't up until the point where the firearm actually came out. And unfortunately, in a lot of these ride-sharing videos, we've seen it time and time again. It may not apply here, or maybe it does, where some passengers actually think they have a right to your vehicle. Now, here in the United States, it's a little bit different. We treat our vehicles like an extension of ourselves. All you got to do is watch an episode of Card Narcs to realize how close we are to our vehicles.
I call the fucking police on you.
For how?
For
what?
touching my car.
And is that against the law?
We're kind of attached to them. They're kind of a symbol of our personality in a way. And when somebody tells you they're not going to leave your property, it's as good as saying they're not going to leave your own home. And this, of course, is maddening to watch, and for the person involved or the person that owns the car. We've seen passengers instigate time and time again over situations like this. Of course, not always is the driver in the right, but a lot of the times in a lot of the situations that we see, they are. Now here's the other part of it, right? This driver clearly kind of like went over the edge, and you saw it, but you know, we saw it from the edge forward, okay? And this is much easier said than done. I want people to understand that. I'm not sitting here like, oh my God, I'm so perfect because I'm a gun owner. But self-control is really a part of it. Being a gun owner, not flipping out when people do things to instigate is really hard. Again, it's much easier said than done, but it's something that in a way you have to practice when you're carrying a firearm. Now, the flip side of this, right? Christina Spicuzza, I talked about this in a recent video. She's a Uber driver, mother of 4, picks up this person on a ride, and that person does this to her.
Hi, Fortunea. Have a good day today. He mumbles.
Stop. Come on, man. I got a family. What are you
I got
doing?
a family too, now drive.
What are you doing?
Drive.
Please stop.
She's clearly in shock. She can't believe even what's going on, and unfortunately she ends up losing her life. A firearm in this situation could have most certainly at least given her a chance. Now, here's what you gotta understand when you're working for these ride-sharing companies. They do not support you carrying a firearm at all. As a matter of fact, I think Uber has like $1 million liability coverage for their drivers, people that work for them, but they can absolutely cancel that right away if you're breaking one of their policies, including their firearm policy. Depending on your state, if you are not found to be justified, which is a huge part of being a gun owner, is kind of knowing your state laws, right? And understanding when the proper time, the proper use of force, including that of deadly force, is actually justified. And you're in fear of your life when something like this escalates to the point where you are, like Christina Spicuzza in this case, obviously would have been justified. Some states still allow families to come after you civilly. Criminal charges, civil charges, the point of this is you need concealed carry insurance. I've been working on this for a while, wanting to explore other options when it comes to carry insurance. And I feel like I've come across one company in particular that I really like. I think I'm gonna make an entirely separate video. Maybe I can work it into another video like this, but concealed carry insurance. You need somebody there in the case of something like this happening. If you have to pull your gun, if it's justified, right? Brandishing, any number of these things can actually get you locked up. You gotta have somebody on your side that you can call that can absolutely defend you. Legal, civil penalties, I mean, you're talking about tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases. So if you're a concealed carrier, right, constantly picking up, if you're a concealed carrier at all, but you're constantly picking people up, make sure that you have some kind of concealed carry insurance. It's totally worth it, just for the peace of mind part of it. Last thing you want to do is lose everything you have, including your rights, to go with some kind of plea deal, and then you can never own a gun again. And you've given up so much just to be able to protect yourself. It's not right. And carry insurance can definitely cover you in that situation. You want to go with a good company though. So again, I hate to say that, stay tuned, but I want to make sure that I pin this down and get with the best company I possibly can. But with all that said, there's a personal kind of choice you have to make. If you're working in sketchy area, if you work in a sketchy, I don't know, gas station or any kind of retail sales, if you work late nights, restaurants, things like this, sometimes you have to make a choice, right? Does the store policy have my best interest in mind? Or is it just liability? I kind of understand both, but at the same time, your best interest is what is normally best for you. Getting home to your family, understanding the sacrifice when you go to work all day long, the point of doing that is to take care of your family and to be able to get home to them. So again, this is a decision you all have to make. I can't make it for you. And I'm certainly not a lawyer by any means, but what you have to do is take it upon yourself to understand the risk and the situations that you're in. Me personally, I've done this in the past as well, where the policy is you can't carry, but I absolutely have. Or had a firearm within 5 feet, 10 feet. Pretty much, yeah, since I've started this channel almost, it has been that way. So that's where we're at with it, man. And of course, you can ask too, right? If you have an employer that doesn't explicitly have this in their rules, I did this and I got turned down. Did I stop carrying? Maybe you'll never know. But the point is, you got to make that decision, okay? And of course, this is highly dependent on where you are. Just remember, just because you have a nice cozy job in what you think is a nice area does not mean that you can't at some point be confronted with a situation just like what Christina Spicuzza and many others have been faced with, and unfortunately didn't have a choice in the matter. So there you go. There's my opinion. If you're doing Uber, rideshare, any of these kind of jobs, you should absolutely take this into consideration. Let me know what you think down below. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. See you in the next one, and as always, hold 'em down.